Hello there, this activity is to help you with some descriptive writing tips. It's suitable for Key Stage 1 and Key Stage 2. The first half of the video is really for Key Stage 1 and then the second half is for Key Stage 2. And hopefully it'll give you some good hints and tips for ways in which to really add what I call some juice to your writing. And it's something that I love doing myself and I love doing with the children that I've taught. So it's all about building sentences really and using those sentences to add interest to your writing. So a good way to practice descriptive writing is to build simple sentences and then add your description in. So it's a bit like adding decorations onto a Christmas tree. You start with the basic sentence and then you just add more and more decoration, more and more juice to the sentence. For Key Stage 1 children, just practicing putting the words into a simple sentence is sometimes enough. And then you could move on to just one or two descriptive words. You can even just say the sentence out loud together if you're not at the writing stage, or you can write it together if you can. For Key Stage 2 children, try to put as much detail into your sentence as possible to really create a vivid mental picture. You want to really sort of get people thinking when they read your writing. So let's have a little go like this. So if I took three words, tree, bird and sang, putting those three words into a simple sentence just could look like this. The bird sang in the tree. Very simple. But how could we make that sentence a little bit more descriptive? How about the blue bird sang in the tree? Or what about the blue bird sang in the tall tree? Or what about the blue bird sang beautifully in the tall tree? You can see it's starting to give you a lot more information and making the sentence much more interesting. So here's a little bit of technical stuff. Some of you probably will know this. So the nouns, those are the red words, they are the names of a thing or an object. So the tree and the bird, they are nouns. If you can put the or a in front of a word, then it's usually a noun. The verb, that's an action or a doing word, and that's the blue word, sang, and that's what's happening. That's an action word. That's what the bird is doing. This case, the verb is in the past tense, so he sang in the tree. You could put he is singing in the tree or was singing in the tree, and that would still be a verb, but be a different tense of the verb. The adverb, that's the word beautifully in this sentence, that's an orange word. That's a word that describes how the verb is done. So he sang beautifully, and quite often adverbs end in ly, in the ly sound. Not always, but quite often. And then your adjectives, they are the words, the purple words here, that describe the noun. Okay, so we've got two nouns there. We've got bird and we've got tree. We've got the word blue, that's an adjective that describes the colour of the bird. Colours are always adjectives. And tall, that describes the tree. So that's an adjective. Those are some of the technical things that you might be doing within your sentence. It's important to know about the technical stuff, but I personally think if you say it aloud, you can hear how it's meant to sound. You can hear whether it sounds right. And sometimes that's just as good a test of whether your sentences are the best they can be. Okay, so I've given you some different word trios here. These are some suggestions, but you could use a whole range of combinations. And you can change the verb if necessary, because I know the verb doesn't always fit in these situations. So instead of roar, you could use roared, or you could use roaring. Okay, so your first sentence, you've got castle, roar, and dragon. What springs to mind? The dragon roared in the castle. And then once you've done your simple sentence, start adding in some description. What was the castle like? How did he roar? What was the dragon like? Where was the dragon? Add some extra detail to your sentence if you can. Your second choice of words is ice, river and mountains. How are you going to put those into a simple sentence? Once you've put them into a simple sentence, then add in your juice, add in your description. And party, friends and played. So my friends played at the party. You could then embellish that to say, my best friends played at my birthday party. My best friends played fantastic games at my birthday party. You've taken that simple sentence and given the reader a bit more information. So now here, if you're in Key Stage 2, or even if you're in Key Stage 1 and you really love writing, you think, yeah, I'm ready for this, give it a go with a bit of support. Or big brothers and sisters, why don't you help little brothers and sisters? But let's get creative. So I thought of these 3 words. I had horse, I had street, and I had moon. Basic principle again. The horse trudged down the street under the light of the moon that shone in the sky. That's already quite a descriptive sentence. My next sentence, I added a little bit more in. The horse trudged down the street, the cobbles glistening under the light of the moon that shone in a black sky. So there I've described what the street was like. It was a cobbled street. They were wet and glistening. The sky was black. Okay, so I've given it a lot more information. And then it's a little bit hard to read. You might miss the end off, but I'll read it out to you. So the horse trudged wearily down the street, the wet cobbles glistening under the light of the full moon that shone in an inky black sky. Already, can you not feel how that gives you more information? It gives more emotion. Okay, I know that the horse is tired because he's trudging wearily. I know that it's been raining because the cobbles are wet. Some of that inferred meaning that you might have talked about when you're doing your guided reading. I know that it's a bright moonlit night, but the sky is really dark black, which might tell me that it's very late at night, mightn't it? So it's giving me a lot more information. Let's try another one. I had crackled, warming, and blizzard. So I first started with quite a simple sentence. The flames crackled, lighting the darkness of the room and warming the travellers as they sought shelter from the blizzard. That's okay. Let's juice it up a bit. The gold flames crackled, lighting the darkness of the room and warming the hands of the travellers as they sought shelter from the blizzard that swirled through the landscape. Again, it's telling me that it's warming the travellers' hands. It's telling me that the flames are gold. Okay. And lastly, I added a little bit more juice to my sentence. The amber and gold flames crackled in the hearth, lighting the darkness of the room and warming the frozen hands of the travellers as they sought shelter from the blizzard that swirled relentlessly through the barren landscape. Just gives you a lot more information. It just evokes some sort of a feeling. You can really start to imagine those travellers that they've trudged through that really stark landscape. The winds are swirling, the snow is swirling, their hands are frozen. They're very glad to be by the warm, glowing fire and listening to the crackle of the flames. Straight away, I'm getting a lot more information, and it's really evoking some emotion within my writing, which I think is important. Now, obviously, not every sentence needs to be that flowery, but it's great fun to play about with words so that you've got some great descriptive writings, great descriptive phrases in your writing toolbox when you need them. If you read a passage that was that descriptive and that flowery the whole time, it would be quite tiring. You'd get to the end and think, goodness me, I need a rest. You don't want that the whole way through, but certainly if you're going to go on and do the project where you write a chapter book, there will be times when you really want some descriptive phrases. You really want to give the reader some intense information, but you don't want it the whole way through. You want to mix it up with some simple sentences and some descriptive phrases. And I've given you some more words here: desert, oasis, and unforgiving. If you don't know what an oasis is, it's usually a patch of water that's found in the desert in an unexpected place when everybody's dying of thirst. And I've got stalk, panther, and peril. I straight away thought of a tropical jungle there and somebody cowering the undergrowth as the panther stalked relentlessly or stealthily by. I love doing this. I think it's great fun, and you can really go to town on it, and it's a very good skill to have for when you write longer pieces. So try it with some of your own words, or why not ask a family member to give you some words, and then you can amaze them with your creative writing skills and get them to challenge you with 3 sort of really random words, see if you can work them into a sentence. And if you really want to stretch yourself, open a dictionary, choose 2 or 3 words at random and see if you can build a super sentence around them. So if you do manage to write some descriptive writing sentences, I would love to read them. Send them to me, let me read them, or maybe send me some little video clips of you reading them out aloud. That would be fantastic. And let's see how creative you can be. I can't wait to read them, and happy describing. See you soon. Bye.